Congressman says Bill Gates' land grab is designed to stop Americans eating red meat. Well, if there's no more cows, obviously we're not even going to have milk, which means that our skeleton, our bones are going to be very brittle. And of course, we will be shorter and not that healthy. Now, South Dakota Congressman believes Bill Gates is building up vast amounts of farmland in order to usher in a future in which red meat becomes too expensive for everyday people, forcing them to consume synthetic meat and synthetic beef. South Dakota Congressman Dusty Johnson demanding Bill Gates be brought before a committee to Congress to explain why he's purchasing vast amounts of farmland in the United States, while simultaneously saying Americans should not eat any meat. As previously reported, Gates suddenly became America's leading farm owner this year and owns close to 270,000 acres of land in the U.S. He has now been granted the legal authority to buy another 2,100 acres in North Dakota, despite protest by local residents. Gates is circumventing a 1932 anti-corporate farm ownership law by pledging to lease the land back to farmers after the purchase is complete. Well, he's already purchased 270,000 acres. Why doesn't he give it back to the farmers? I don't understand what he's up to, really. Now, South Dakota Congressman Dusty Johnson is demanding Gates explain his plans for the vast tracts of prime agricultural land. Johnson wrote in a letter addressed to committee chairman David Scott, it has become clear in recent reports that Mr. Gates is the largest private farm owner in America, farmland owner. He now owns nearly 270,000 acres of farmland across 19 states. Comparatively, the average farm size in 2021 was 445 acres, according to the United States Department of Agriculture's Economic Research Service. I believe that Mr. Gates' holdings across much of our nation is a significant portion of the committee, and that committee should not ignore, Johnson said. And also MIT Technology Review states that Bill Gates' rich nations, he says, should shift entirely to synthetic beef. Bill Gates has become increasingly bullish about his plans to force Americans to stop eating meat. Johnson also took to Twitter to ask how Gates buying huge quantities of farmland was consistent with him telling Americans not to eat meat. Johnson asks, Bill Gates is the largest owner of U.S. farmland. I'm curious what's planned for this incredibly productive ag land, given that he believes developed countries like America should not eat any red meat. How are his land purchases related to those aspirations? So Summit reports, Congressman also highlighted the meat issue in his letter. Quote, the committee should be interested in Mr. Gates' ownership and plans for his acreage, as he has been a leading voice in the push for synthetic meat. In 2021, Mr. Gates was quoted as saying, all rich countries should move to 100% synthetic beef to combat climate change, wrote Johnson. And in an interview with Fox News, Johnson also demanded to know what plans Gates had for the farmland. Asserting that ownership of farmland matters a lot, Johnson wrote. No one has been buying it up faster than Bill Gates. Gates now owns 268,984 multi-use land in 19 states. He has land all over California, over almost 10,000 acres, 16,000 acres in the state of Washington, 9,233 acres in Idaho, 978 in Wyoming, 2,270 in Colorado, Arizona, almost 26,000 acres. New Mexico, 1 acre. Why did he even bother buying 1 acre in New Mexico? Anyway, Nebraska, 21,000 acres. Unfortunately, North Dakota and South Dakota are not even on the map, what he's bought there. Arkansas, 48,000 acres. Louisiana, 70,000 acres. Florida, 15,000 acres. North Carolina, 874 acres. So the biggest purchase is Louisiana, 70,000 acres. And 2,000 acres in Michigan, 9,000 acres Ohio. So the biggest purchases are Louisiana and then Arkansas. Now, we know California supplies 40% of the United States food and produce, California. So this is really very interesting, very, very serious. The billionaire is buying vast amounts of farmland at the same time as his friends at Davos are telling Americans, you'll own nothing and be happy. So why is he bothered to buy all these if he's not going to be owning anything? The land purchases are also happening at a time when farmers across Europe are being paid not to farm and are being put out of business by onerous net zero emissions targets pushed by globalist technocrats and friends of Gates. This is by Baxter Dimitri on News Punch. So we'll see what he's going to tell Congress. He has to answer, and who knows what he's going to be saying. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. This is by Baxter Dimitri News Punch. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.